Good evening, everyone. Today I am going to take a topic structure of atom for grade 9. Now basically today we are going to have a brief introduction about the structure of atom. Now when we are talking about the structure of atom, we say that all matter is made up of the atoms. Secondly, we say that basically atoms are the building blocks of the matter. Means what? Like when we are making a house, we put the bricks on one upon one. Similarly, atom is what? Atom is just equivalent to the brick when we are talking about the matter. The third thing, each element has different atoms. Atoms are the entities which are engaged in the chemical reactions basically. Then you cannot create them, you cannot destroy them, and they are the indivisible. So this is somewhat is our introduction to the atom. Now further when we are talking about the atoms, the second thing is what? That is your atomic particles. Now over here if you look, I have shown the structure of the atom. Basically this is my atom. Over here I am having the three things, that is the electron, neutron and proton. Now one by one, let's talk about them. When I'm talking about the electrons, these electrons are the negatively charged particles which keep on revolving in orbits, and these orbits are somewhat elliptical in the shape. Then when you're talking about the neutrons, they are the particles with no charge, means they are the neutral in the nature. You can learn it like N for neutron, N for neutral. And the third one is proton. When we're talking about the proton means that they are the positively charged particles. Now, these proton and neutron, they remain concentrated in the middle of the atom, and together they called as the nucleus. Means you can say that neutron plus proton is equal to the nucleus. So over here we can say that the mass of the electron is 1 by 2000 mass of hydrogen atom. When I'm talking about the mass of the proton, we say that it is equal to the mass of hydrogen atom, and it is taken as the 1 unit. And when I'm talking about the neutrons, we say that it is equal to the neutron mass is equal to the mass of hydrogen again, and equal to the 1 unit, same as the protons. Therefore, by this we can conclude that electrons are something which are revolving around, and your protons and neutrons are something which are concentrated at a single place. You can say at the center. Same like our solar system, that planets are revolving around and sun is at the center. Now coming further, we say that how do this discovery of the subatomic particles took place. So various scientists came over here. So let's talk about the main scientists who discovered these subatomic particles. First one was the J.J. Thomson. Basically, J.J. Thomson discovered the presence of negatively charged particles. Now, negatively charged particles, as we have already discussed, they are called as the electrons. And it was somewhat around in the 1900th century. Then, the next comes, that is E. Goldstein. E stands for the Ernest Goldstein. He discovered the new radiations in the gas discharge called the canal rays, and these rays were found to be the positively charged. Later, he discovered that the positively charged particles are the protons in the atom. Then, the third, in the 1932 year, Chadwick discovered the presence of particles which was chargeless and later on called as the neutrons. So basically how the discoveries of the subatomic particles took. So we can understand by this that first the electron came, then the proton came, and in a very last your neutrons came. Now when we are talking about the Thomson model of the atom, basically Thomson, the full name is a J.J. Thomson over here. Now, when we are talking about the J.J. Thomson model of the atom, we say that he just correlated the atom structure to the pudding. Now, how the pudding we say? Like he said that pudding is going to have the positive charge. Like over here, for example, this is the pudding over here, and in the pudding, if you are going to put the raisins, they are your negative charge over here. Now, it was just looking like the plums in the pudding cake, or you can say like the watermelon. If I take an example, the red pulp is going to be your positive charge and the seeds of the watermelon is going to be the negative charge. Now over here, what happened that he said the atom consists of the positively charged sphere and electrons are embedded in it. Means now I am just correlating it with the structure of the atom. Again I am repeating that positive charge is here and there and electrons are embedded in that. Then negative and positive charges are equal. So we can say that when the negative and positive charge are going to be equal, therefore your atom is going to be electrically neutral in the nature. Now it is very clear over here that it means as the positive and negative charge is equal, therefore it is going to be neutral. Now one more thing over here is what? That electrons, like nowadays we are talking about the electrons, but previously we used to call them as a corpuscles, and later on we said that these are the electrons which are the particles suspended in this fluid. Now in this fluid means that this structure that is a positive over here. Now it was well defined, we accepted it, but the main drawback was for this particular model was what? That he did not predict the movement of these electrons. So over here he just failed. Now another scientist came. So today we are going to discuss about the another scientist, that is your Rutherford's model of the atom. Now when we are talking about the Rutherford's model of the atom, first of all he just gave this model by the alpha scattering experiment, which is over here I have shown with the help of a diagram. Now what does it say? It says that what happened that Rutherford allowed the beam of fast moving alpha particles having the positive charge to fall on the thin gold film. Now basically what he did, he just took a one fluorescent screen, he placed a one source from where the alpha particles was coming, and he placed a very thin foil, gold foil over here, and he just allowed the alpha particles to strike on the gold foil. Now when he allowed this over here, he find out the different observations. Let's look what was the observation. Like if you people are able to look, one my ray is coming over here, one is going over here, so I can have the few observations over here. So let's look at most of the alpha particles passed straight through the gold foil. Now over here if you are able to look, they are going straight. Next, some of the alpha particles over here, they are slightly deflected by the small angles. Like over here if you look this ray or you look this ray, they are very slightly deflected. The angle is very little. And very few particles appear to be rebound. Rebound means they just strike the gold foil and they come back over here. So these three observations he looked over here. Now after this what happened? Like when I'm talking about that the few rays just moved in a straight line, few scattered with a very slight difference in the angle, and few just deflected back. So what I can say by this, what I can basically I can conclude, most of the space inside an atom is in empty. Now, when I'm using a word that most of the space inside an atom is empty, it means what? That most of alpha particles passed straight through gold foil. Then, next concluding point. The atom had a small nucleus having the positive charge. Now, when I'm saying a slight, this positive charge means a slight deflection, I can say, is why? Because some of the alpha particles having the positive charge are slightly deflected by the small angles. Then the size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of the atom. Means we can say a very few alpha particles appear to rebound. Rebound, again I'm repeating, means to come back, and most of the charge and most of the mass is in the nucleus. So with this, the Rutherford concluded about his model of the atom. Now by this, at last, I would like to just conclude over here that we can derive that positively charged nucleus at its center, and most of the mass of atom is in the nucleus. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus in the different orbits. It doesn't mean that, for example, I'm having this orbit, so my all electrons are going to be over here. No, not like this. This is my orbit, so here I am going to have the particular electron. For the another electron, if I am talking, it is going to have its own particular electron. And the size of nucleus is very small compared to the size of atom. Now with the Rutherford model of the atom, I am left behind with the defects of the Rutherford model and then Bohr model. Now this we are going to cover in the next class. Till then, thank you. Goodbye.